So with the Pakistan market, the value of around $5.5 billion, this all happens back in 2012, where the PIC tragedy was occurred, with more than 250 patients who were died in Punjab. And right after this, Honorable Supreme Court took suo motu notice, and subsequent to that, the government of Pakistan made a body called DRAP, under the DRAP Act 2012. So this is all started from here with respect to the emerging disputes. The mandate of the DRAP is to adopt the regulated market regulations here in Pakistan. So recently that we have seen the current regulation with respect to the contractual disputes. This is very normal in the pharmaceutical sectors of the contract manufacturing, and used to term here in Pakistan called the toll manufacturing. The main issues involved with respect to the toll manufacturing is the delays in manufacturing and the raw materials, or the manufacturing with the different specifications. So these are the key issues, the linked with the toll manufacturing side. This was very uncommon back in 2018, but after the amendment in the policy of the contract manufacturing, now the foreigners and the foreign companies and the local companies who have expertise in promotions and marketing and distribution, they can get product manufactured from the big companies, from the manufacturing company. But this is the the main issue with respect to the the delays in the manufacturing, and also the government regulation with respect to the quality, safety, and efficacy of the products. Second thing is with respect to the the data integrity and the data management. The pharmaceutical sector is in what kind of I must say the research and development of the medicine that take the years and years. So the data management is very critical for the pharmaceutical industry. Now the regulations are here in Pakistan to get the product registered with the dossiers here in Pakistan, to have the bioequivalent studies from the CROs, called the clinical research organizations. And we have seen the disputes with respect to the CROs and the DRAP, and also the manufacturing units who want to get registered product from the DRAP and to the Pakistani market. So the clinical protocols, the deviation, the patient's infrastructure, the patient the usage, and the confidentiality clause, these are the main key areas that we have seen the companies facing challenges in terms of settling their dispute with the CROs. The second and the most important here in pharmaceutical sector, which is quite unnormal with respect to the acquisition and merger as compared to the other industry, including in Pakistan and the worldwide. In the 3 days back, as we heard, the LCI has acquired the Pfizer Pakistan, USA, and Pakistan. The acquisition, the main disputes involved in the acquisition, because we have seen in Pakistan last from 20 years that more than 50 multinational companies has been acquired because of many commercial reasons. But the thing is how to transfer their assets to maintain the business continuity, and also with respect to the transfer from the government side. And I must quote here the Honorable Justice, Mr. Justice Shafi Siddiqui Saab judgment, which recently has been passed with respect to to have to settle the dispute with respect to the NOC from the the party here who have already terminated their contract, who has have no right to get the NOC from the terminating party. This is what has been set aside by the the Sindh High Court, and subsequently the DRAP has adopted this and the judgment and enforced by law. And also with respect to the acquisition and merger, the CROs here in Pakistan, we have seen the government in last 5 years. Government has given many the license to the semi-government, the government, and then the private parties, the license to the various CROs to conduct clinical trials of the various manufacturing companies here in Pakistan or in the abroad. And the third and the main the issue is supply chain and the drug shortages. We used to we hear all the time in the news and media that the products are already short. To some extent, it's a good reason from the pharmaceutical industry. Like we 95% dependent on the raw material we import from China and India and other countries. So we are totally depending on the raw materials, and we have seen a couple of challenges last in COVID eras, and we are dealing with some arbitration and the dispute which arose back in COVID era with the Chinese companies or in the Indian companies or Taiwanese companies. And the last and the most important, which what I have seen in Pakistan and internationally, is the IPR rights of the pharmaceutical industry. So the IPR rights is mostly driven by the pharmaceutical and the healthcare sectors. Here in Pakistan, as we know, the Pakistan pharmaceutical industry is a generic-driven based industry. The moment product launch in US or in European market, next day the manufacturers of Pakistan are also able to manufacture here with the prior approval from the DRAB. Now the point is how to maintain their, the patent laws and the trademark and other things involved with respect to the IP laws. Apart from the government enforcement and the government actions, now the big companies are having the originator brands internationally. They come into the agreement with the exclusive agreement and the royalty based model with the pharmaceutical companies here in Pakistan, internationally. And we have seen last from 5 years time where the IPR regulations is not much more imposed and settled by the parties or in the court of law. The most of the Indian companies have breached their IPR, the regulation with respect to the manufacturing of their raw materials have been already patented in US or in the European Union. This is the main reason here in Pakistan as well with respect to if you file a dossier of the generic molecule or the formulation here in DRAB, the DRAB, what their stance is, see, this is a generic formulation and we are the technical authority. If someone files dossiers to us, we will definitely approve it. And if it's a challenge with the patent or the trademark, you have another authority you can go and fight. So the pharmaceutical industry, who have the champion in the R&D businesses, they have agreement with the pharmaceutical companies, and also they face some problems in terms of the financial transactions and the contract performance and the delays in terms of the implementing their the conditions at the shop floor. And secondly, with respect to the the hospital industry, which is an emerging field here in Pakistan as far as the disputes are concerned. Why I am asking this? Because the last from 75 years, the hospital were not used to with the regulations, even the doctors and the clinics and the paramedical staffs, because of so many reasons. But after 18th Amendment, the Healthcare Commission has been established at provincial levels, and we have seen last from 5 to 7 years time, all the provincial healthcare commissions are actively enforcing their regulations. And to this, what we have seen, the contract between the physician and the hospitals. This is the unique model that we have seen in various big hospitals and the mid-tier hospitals. The doctors have their payroll on the hospital and they have contract with each other. If any of the party aggrieved, the patient aggrieved by any of the hospital facility or with the doctors, they blame to each other, and that ultimately went to the court for the settlement. And the second thing is the insurance company with respect to the reimbursement and other charges and the admission policies, and they have with respect to the banking sector and also with the hospital sectors. And the second last is the medical malpractices and the complaints. We have seen the unusual trafficking of complaints in urban areas. Because of the people awareness and because of the regulations and because of the the media campaigns by the healthcare commissions, the people do file the complaints in hospitals, which we have seen the patients aggrieved with respect to in terms of treatment, in terms of finances, in terms of the overall service delivery system in the hospitals. So whatever the reason is, they file complaint into the hospitals, and the challenge is how the hospitals satisfy their complaint, having they have the agreed party with the hospital, and the next forum is the Healthcare Commission. And also the Healthcare Commission laws is somewhat is to penalize the hospital or the doctor or the clinic, and ultimately either of the party went to the district and session court and then the high court. And the last is the malfunctions claim, the outsourcing that we have seen in the hospital industry, the mostly run by the the medical equipments and the other equipments and surgery equipments, which are linked with the contracts and the agreements. And we have seen, as usual, the conflicting point of view with respect to the medical devices industry, pharmaceutical, and the paramedical staff that create some challenges. And I have experience with the pharmaceutical and hospital industry. So this disputes may arise manifolds in next few years' time. And yesterday we have seen Mr. Sharaz and Honorable Justice Mr. Jawad Hassan Saab has briefed us about the Arbitration Act draft, about the Arbitration Act of 2024. That will definitely help us in terms of settling healthcare disputes. Thank you. In pharmaceutical contracts, there are three main clauses. One is the technical terms, because it's a highly technical, the industry. And the second is the commercial terms. And third, of course, the regulations. It's a highly regulated industry and the regulatory terms. But as per my experience, that what we have seen, the most of the dispute, comes from the pharmaceutical side is the technical terms. In terms of interpretation, in terms of drafting, in terms of performance of the technical obligations. So for me, that is, the most important thing is the person, the organization who is drafting, apart from the legal knowledge and on the contract side, but must have the technical knowledge as well. And the last point, what I observe that has not been covered so far in yesterday and in today as well, what we have seen with respect to the pharmaceutical sectors, probably here in Pakistan, the regulation is also the contributing factors toward the commercial disputes.
Yeah.
Why I'm sharing this, the draft adopted the regulation of the highly regulated market, the US FDA or the European Union and the ICH, which actually is not practical here at shop floor here in Pakistan. It's an ongoing process to implement it. With respect to the controls over the commercial terms between two organizations, the draft have certain conditions. The government have certain obligations to meet both the parties, which is nothing to do with the quality, safety, and efficacy of the product. That also, the contributing factors in terms of the disputes. So, so my, the take is the technical knowledge is, the most important thing while drafting, the contract, that, avoid, the disputes and then the other things.
Thank you so much.